All right, and I just had a minor technical problem that I hope is not still happening. I will need to wait a little while for folks to join the stream and tell me whether they are getting audio problems. Hello, Dr. Abigail. Get to punch rums. If there is a rum near you, feel free to punch it. I made this, which I feel is more like getting punched by rum. Oh, goddamn, that's good. Oh, also, I want to get really shot. Do a taste test on some stuff Kirsten gave me when she was here. Thank you, Dr. Abigail. That was good. We did bottle swap. A few things. Hello, Megaleech. And I got a little sample pack from this distiller called Imbue. 2 gins, the Suburban Gin and the Journey Gin, and then 2 liqueurs. Hi, Justin. They're all seasons, which is barrel aged and scented with honey and spices, which sounds fucking awesome, and the Elixir, scented with honey, lemon, and vanilla. Kirsten informs me that's a medicinal drink. You have that in like tea when you're sick. I mean, that sounds legit to me. Who am I to say? No, Justin, I did not watch one fucking second of the funeral. All for rum, rum for all, Strictly Sega. Oh, man, that is actually really good. Made it on the weekend. And it was not without its travails, particularly during the milk clarification part of it, but it turned into a fucking nice product. So, hooray! I have a litre and a half of this rum punch, and it's reasonably potent. Actually, I suppose, okay, alcohol by volume, it's particularly the clarified one will be diluted even more. Oh man, how strong were the rums I put in? I don't think they're that strong. But it's got to be less than 20% alcohol, maybe only 15% alcohol. So kind of average for a cocktail. But it just tastes so fucking delightful and fruity. Oh my God, that's good. This is the clarified version. I still have some of the unclarified version. And that tastes more like wine. Now it has vermouth in it. The clarified version lost a lot of the wine flavor, the vermouth flavor. Still there, but it's just like sweet and fruity. Gosh darn it. All right. Like so many of my friends, sweet and fruity. All right. Just getting visible already, taking the wrap off, because I am just such a fidgeter. And this is little dotted lines on it where it's easier to get the plastic seal off. All right. I'm not even, just it's going to take me a while to drink. I mean, yeah, I could knock this back. I'm not going to. I'm going to savor it. Savor. Mm. It's yum. Oh, what? You're talking coding here, strictly Sega. Brain can't get around CSV code. I don't code as such. I do system documentation, process documentation, business requirements, that type of thing. Because I'm working in cybersecurity and we've got to make sure people are doing cybersecurity things, I get to do a bunch of fun, what would you call it? When you validate if someone's actually done something. Governance, that's what we call it. Governance. Basically, making sure mofos who are meant to do shit actually do shit. Okay, so strictly saying, it's running a little Shopify shop. And so I assume you've been learning some basic code to design it. And it's giving you grief. I almost used one of my old habitual racial slurs, and I stopped myself. That honestly, Dr. Abigail, that's exactly what I thought. CSV, we're talking about comma-separated variables, like spreadsheets. Oh, it is. You are doing CSV. Okay. Okay. I thought it must be something else. I do very basic stuff in spreadsheets. And, that has comma separated variables behind it. So you're trying to batch upload products and you're trying to do that with CSV. I see where you're coming from, and I understand why it would theoretically be possible. Not something I've ever tried to do. It just reminds me of a really old nerd joke from that's probably from a 90s webcomic. And the management guy who doesn't know anything about tech is harassing the tech guys at a tech startup in the 90s. And it was like, it's American, and it was like in Silicon Valley, so it's in California. And there's a couple of very Californian dudes who started and ended every sentence with, "Dude, do you see what we're doing here, dude?" And he said, "Dude, he doesn't know anything that this is like, dude. Like, dude, what are we even going to do about this, dude?" And the boss sort of loses at them over a number of things. He goes, "And also the way you start and end every sentence with 'dude' is driving me crazy." One of them looks at the other one and goes, "Dude, he just said we're having a dude delimited conversation, dude." Which was funny if you're a nerd. Okay, so yeah, so you add them to Excel, make them in little files, yeah. Yes, I think Dr. Abigail is giving you very helpful thoughts there. So, but I also I think I understand what you're aiming to do, strictly Sega. If the back end of the Shopify shop needs things broken up, and if it's using, and if it understands delimited text, you're basically telling it what a succession of fields are. You're like, A, comma, B, comma, C, comma, D, comma. And I think I understand where you're coming from, that the Shopify backend theoretically understands if you put, but I imagine you have to put exactly the right things. I can see it being a challenge. Hey, Big Pat, how you doing? Okay. Wait, 10 minutes in and I've had my first drink. I'm going to say in my defense, it's a low alcohol drink. It's very fruit and tart. It's got a good tartness. So it's got orange juice and pineapple juice. It's got sugar in it. I think the vermouth might be adding to the tartness as well. You see, strictly Sega, I'm in your court. I'm not a programmer. And sometimes you have to be careful not to be too bloody clever for your own good, because you can sort of know just enough to get yourself into terrible trouble. I think I've told this story before, but I remember in the deep dark past, it's quite a while ago, and I can just about benchmark when this was actually. This was bordering on 20 years ago, somewhere between 18 and 20 years ago. It's in this job, and someone in the business is going like, oh, can you, I ended up getting the job. Can you help us? We've been maintaining this information that we really need on a spreadsheet, and it's stopped working. And I thought, okay, well, come up and see you and see what's wrong with your spreadsheet. And so I rock up. So I go, okay, so where's this spreadsheet? And he shows me a page. It looks like a web page, and with field entry things in it. Just looks like a web page. And I said, you said it was a spreadsheet. And he's like, yeah, this is a spreadsheet. We got someone in who did a Visual Basic front end on an Excel spreadsheet so we could do this. And now it stopped working. And I'm like, I imagine you've put too much data in there. This is not what you're meant to use Excel for. You should have actually come to the IT department, and we would have developed a proper solution. You think, oh yeah, but if we come to you and say we want something, then you make us jump through all these hoops, and then we've got to go and get this thing, and it takes all this time and costs all this money, and we didn't want to do that, so we didn't tell anyone, and we just got someone's kid in to code this VB front end on top of an Excel spreadsheet, and so then we were doing critical business work on it, and now it's fucking crashed and we've lost everything and can't retrieve anything. And it's like, are you getting an inkling yet of why the IT department wants to do things a different way? Because you've just fucked off and done this, and this is critical to your operations, and it's fucked and it's irretrievable because you didn't want to do things the right way. Yeah, I knew you'd get this one, Dr. Abigail. It was just, there's a joke that and again, this is a very nerd joke, Excel is the most misused database in the world because you can actually use Excel to store data and retrieve it for you in a database-like way. But that's beyond its core capabilities, and at a certain point it will break. And it's just great. This person comes up with their brilliant shortcut. I don't want to do all the shit the IT department want me to do, so I have a system that actually is fit for purpose. I'm going to get something that just barely works, and I'll keep using it till it breaks, and I'll do critical work on it. And it's fucked. Oh yeah, no. Access is a database, and it's still not great. But yeah, the joke is that too many people use Excel as a database, and it's fucked. And it's just like, god damn. I think it's less of an issue than it used to be. It used to be a big fucking issue, though. All right, I'm going to do my gin tasting. Because why not? Oh, yeah, again, yes. So, yeah, strictly saying, if you're using the Google online version of, it's actually called Sheets, isn't it? Doc is a Word clone. I think the Excel clone is called Sheets. And yes, the Google stuff can be very good for collaborating. So I'm going to get some shot glasses. I think I'll have these on ice, actually, because it's not whiskey. So. Right. Get my shot glasses. Put a little bit of ice in each of them. And why not sing along with it? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't need any more. Okay. Big Pat, I'm fine. How you doing? I pity Dr. Abigail. I pity the fool who uses Access for really serious work. But Microsoft tells people you can. Okay, gin number 1. Gin number 2. I was listening to a bit of music on YouTube before coming on. Last one I listened to was this really weird track, the Rubber Bandits, released about a year ago. I want to say, it could be longer. Called Bertie Ahern, and it's from the point of view of a little kid whose mum gets a boyfriend. My mum has a new man called Bertie Ahern, and it's just like, it's really driving. A lot of it's spoken word. It's really driving. It's fucking funny. I find it really catchy. Mega Beach, I in fact did not do a stream on Sunday. Was busy working on my Rum Punch video. Glad you're doing the best today, Pat. That's excellent. Holy shit, Microsoft Works was fucking hilarious. Microsoft Works was the shitty cut-down version of Microsoft Office. Shit, I hadn't thought of Microsoft Works in ages. You trust SQL Server and Active Directory. Everyone uses both of those. You're right. Yeah. All right. So this is Suburban Gin. Has dandelion, prickly pear, blackberry, and fennel. Oh, it smells. Often gins just smell like juniper. This actually smells like berries to me. What's it taste like? Ooh, it has a very berry flavor. It's very, very, yum. It's nice dry gin. Oh, man, that's good. Oh, yes. Big Pat, the ladies' man. Look out. Got a girlfriend. Go for it, big guy. That's going to make it. Oh, man, that's going to make a good martini. Actually, it'd probably make a good gimlet. Only 40%. Okay. I need to drink some water between these, cleanse my palate. All right. I do that. That is an excellent pun joke. It's an oxymoron. Microsoft Works. Right. So the journey, which is juniper, apple, and muntries. Muntries is a native Australian berry. This smells really sweet too. Kind of smells like the other one, but drinking problem. I missed my mouth there. Okay, this is sweeter than the other one. Tastes a bit more juniper-y as well. Oh, that's right. You're house sitting and cat sitting. I forgot. What do they call this one? There's no description. Okay. Visit them one day. They're in Victoria. The Imbue Distillery. Okay. Okay, so the Elixir Liqueur is very dark. Smells a bit like honey. It smells a bit like honey and flowers. What do they say is in it? Honey, lemon, and vanilla. Okay. Oh my word, that is, oh, yum. Oh, it's like, yeah, honey and lemon. Holy shit. Oh man, this just tastes like honey and lemon. It's fucking nice. Good God. What's that? 22% ABV. Oh man, that would be good. Mulled. This would be good. Maybe even mix it with some cider or even just apple juice and do it warmed up in winter. That's fucking nice. Oh yeah, I heard that, Justin. Just the AU domain. Actually, I'm going to look something up. Thanks for that reminder. Instead of .com.au, you can just get AU. Let me just see. My mum has a new man called Barty Ahern. Okay. $5 years, $17 a year, as opposed to $21 a year. Question. Oh, you know what? Fuck it. All right, I'm actually, as we speak, I'm getting the angryaussie.au domain. So what is this Shizer doing? Why did that default to the Australian Capital Territory? That's ridiculous. Save and continue. Until 20th September. Continue. It's saying, no, needs it tomorrow or fucking whatever. It's not working. It's saying until 20th September, you have to own the .com.au, but it's the 20th September and it's not working. Okay, you're all stupid and didn't update your website today. Well, that's annoying. That is grade A annoying. Anyway, I've got one more liqueur to taste. Is this one? All Seasons. Ooh. Is this one? Barrel aged. No, they're both very good. Okay. That's what tastes different. It's 35% alcohol as opposed to 22% alcohol. I don't know that that's even a good thing. So, for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, the default Australian domain since early days of the internet has always been .com.au, and I've never been that sold on it being better than .com. I mean, but what do I know? I'm not really a web person, but I'm really not convinced this is better. And I half feel like, actually, I more than half feel like this is a scam from the domain registrars. Because, of course, if you do have a business that you're running on .com.au, you almost have to get the same thing on just .au, because if some scammer or competitor got your URL, like telstra.com.au, and someone else registered telstra.au, it would be very easy for them to run scams for people who weren't that astute about URLs. Yeah, the more I think about it, this reeks of a fucking scam from the domain or money. There you go. I said it. I stick by it. Unless they try and sue me. I'm saying the domain registrars, bunch of filthy criminals. Speaking of tasting, actually. Okay, I might have to get me some of this Elixir. The video stopped when I said what? When I called the domain registrars scammers. It's a conspiracy, I tells you. It's a conspiracy. It goes all the way to the top. Yum. Yum, yum. Those liqueurs are really yum. I think I probably prefer the Elixir, but I think they could both make really good mulled drinks. Actually, what am I doing? I probably want one of these. Just do a taste. Get to taste my barrel-aged Manhattan. See if it's ready to come out. Which barrel? I actually put a label in so I would know which one it was. Leaking. So Manhattan. It's been in there since the 3rd. So not quite 3 weeks. Mix it up because there was bitters in there. Feels like it's evaporated a bit, but anyway. Okay, quick taste test to see if I want to decant this. I got all sorts of. That drop tasted good. Let me have a proper drink of it though. Oof. Very deep burgundy. Looks almost black by Manhattan. Yum, that's really nice. Should I decant that now? I have to think of the next thing to put in there. Am I getting too far ahead of myself? Because I now have a bunch of ready to drink, pre-made cocktails that I've made. It's a question I need to ask myself. What do I do? I think it needs a little bit of water in it, and then I need to chill it. All right. Decision made. Get an empty up here. Slightly bottles. You know what? Put it in the dishwasher today. All right. Dishwasher. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. That's going to stay there. I could even do this. Don't even have to hold it, which will come in handy because I kind of need two hands for the barrel. Oh. Okay, so take the bung out of the bung hole and pour the magic elixir out of the barrel. No little bits of wood or charcoal landed in the sieve. It's a very fine strainer. You know, I always make the joke about water from there being peeing ASMR. Oh no, there are some tiny little bits of char caught in the filter now. Wouldn't have hurt me if they were in a drink, but you know, being pure. Anyway, I always make the joke about getting water from there being peeing ASMR, like this is now, although this sounds less like it than the water dispenser does. I was talking to my boss today. Having an online meeting, and Young Ms. Angry's getting a big glass of water from just behind me while I'm talking. And I ignored it for a while, but the boss was talking for an extended period. I was just listening, so I muted my microphone. This water pouring noise had been going on for a while behind me. Muted the microphone and laughed and said to Young was angry. Now the boss thinks I was pissing while talking to her. Ooh, wow, that's just about perfect. There isn't actually any room to put any water in here. But I do want to refrigerate this because it's got vermouth in it, being a Manhattan. Yes, that's the power of suggestion. Anyone who needs to pee now? Ooh, that's still a whole liter. Neat. All right. I have to think of the next thing to put in there. Probably should be some. Oh no, I've got a bunch of barrel-aged gins there. I don't want any more barrel-aged gin. Oh, I could do that. Actually, don't know if that's going to show. Oh, there. Yeah, you can probably see. No, put against my white shirt. Caught half a dozen little bits of charred wood. But now I have fucking litre of Manhattan. I have a lot of whiskies. Oh, Christ. Are we off for space here? Manhattan. There we go. I've got this urge to clarify the Manhattan. That'd probably be quite interesting. Lisa, hello. First bit of username is Elisa. Sure. Oh, for Lisa, there you go. Go by Melody. Oh, thank you. I will. Okay. First, I will try and remember. I am old and senile, so I may forget. I will try and remember Mel is your actual name, though. And if I forget, I usually only need to be reminded of something 3 or 4 times until I remember it. But I will try very hard to remember Mel. Isn't that the whole way, though, with internet names? If you build an internet name around how you're calling yourself at one point, and you want to change it at another point, it's like, ooh. But anyway, I hope you're doing well, Mel. Look, I got it right because I said it, and that's usually how I get it right. Because I'm not even joking. It's not just an age thing. I've always been very bad with names. One way to reduce the likelihood of forgetting names is to use them several times in conversation. Like when you say something like, "Hi, Mel, how are you?" And then you won't say the name again, usually in conversation. But when you're at the phase of trying to remember a name, even if it sounds a bit weird, it can really help to actually say the person's name a couple of times. So it's my top tip. Now, I have lots of whiskies and I have lots of gins. But I actually have already barrel-aged gins, so I don't necessarily want to barrel-age more gins. Although that barrel roll cocktail I made, or my take on it, was actually pretty good. Strictly Sega, that's an excellent one. Rhyme the name in the head. Mel is swell. I swear to God, Andy Panty will get you stabbed. There are 2 sorts of Andrews in the world. The ones who like being called Andy, and the ones who'll fucking stab you if you call them Andy. So I'm the second type, if you haven't picked that up yet. Yes, so I have a lot of whiskies. So I could maybe do with emptying a bottle. With a cocktail. I have to work out which one. Oh, right. Yes. Okay. And that's the whole thing. Some people like my mum called me Drew. And some members of my family still do, and 1 or 2 friends do. I don't mind that. Strictly Sega, no, I was joking. Oh yeah, isn't it? Yeah, we definitely. That was a high school thing, calling people by surnames because it was weird to call someone by their first name. Yep, that was a weird thing. Only call people with surnames. Do. I don't think I have any nearly empty whiskey bottles, actually. Jesus. I think Kirsten gave me a sneak preview of Archiros are bringing out another whiskey before the end of the year, which looked really good. I might get it, but I need to have space on the shelf. So I need to empty something. So making a whiskey-based batch cocktail and barrel aging it would be one way of doing that. Yes, strictly saying, I think it was a very English thing. I think you're right. And yeah, it's the posh school thing to refer to people by their surname. Not that I went to a posh school here. All right. No, quick. Oh, God, all the whiskey bottles seem almost full. Oof, that's the Balcones. God, that's about the only one I could empty. What's this one? I just molasses rum, single cask malt whiskey. All my whiskey bottles are mostly full, like more than half full. Yeah, they really are. What's that one? Damn. All right, but my rum cart has lots of spaces on it. I don't drink as much rum. I got this. Look, I mentioned the other day the Dan Murphy's, sort of a suburb or two across, had a cart, like literally a shopping cart with stuff they're trying to get rid of. It was like 40, 45% off. This is whiskey, right? I think this is bad marketing because this looks like a wine bottle. And I don't know, there's just something about it. I wouldn't look at it twice. And like I first wouldn't think it was whiskey, but if someone told me it was whiskey, I'm honest, the bottle would turn me off. The Watkins Whiskey Company, single malt whiskey, small batch from Queensland. And it was like super marked down. And I thought, fuck it, I'll get it as an experiment. And this is it's my favorite, but it's the most I've enjoyed a new whiskey for a while. I don't have any whiskeys I dislike. But it's a while since I've got a new whiskey and I've just been really into it. This one I really like. Just making that seal off because it has a sharp edge. Oh, I thought something stabbed me. God damn it. There's something there. Fucking stabbed me like a splinter. That yeah, now it's bleeding. God damn it. A piece of plastic fucking stabbed me in the thumb. God damn it. Look. Blood. That's kind of annoying the shit out of me. Ah, got that off too. Good. Okay. So, little cork. A little bit of whiskey. So Mel, general weirdness of art of names makes you think of the joke. Names and noise your family decided you respond to for the rest of your life. Yeah, that's fair. Justin, when you were in Indonesia, because of local custom called teacher Mr. or Ms, then their first name. Ah, there you go. Why is my brother named Soaring Eagle? Oh, God, that's the two dogs fucking joke, which, honestly, a very old joke. I told that when I was in school, back when we were learning about a new invention called the steam engine. What's that taste like? It's like raisins. It's really gently sweet. Almost like toffee. Yeah, it's like really lightly burnt toffee and raisins. How do they describe it on the bottle? 'Cause I'm bad with the tasting notes. Product of Australia. What do they say here? Since the arrival of the First Fleet, the Watkins name has been synonymous with quality whiskey, woodwork, and undertaking. Using the finest ingredients and traditional techniques, we've crafted this divine whiskey, perfect for celebrating births, weddings, wakes, anything in between. It is really nice. I would have a word to their marketing. This bottle's a mistake. This to me does not say whiskey. It says wine, and this bottle would put me off. I would say that to their marketing department. They should change the bottle. To the distiller blender who put it together, excellent work. Oh man, it's actually really good. So Justin, as you're saying, Indonesians tend to not have surnames. When they need one, they literally make one up. Nice. Don't carry family names. There you go. It's kind of odd how we expect everyone to follow the same conventions that we follow. And it's not just us. Like I feel like everyone expects everyone to have the same conventions. Like in some Eastern cultures, I'm not sure how universal this is, but they tend to say the family name first and the given name second. European, you say given name first, family name second. Just learn from Justin. Indonesians tend to not have surnames, so they'll make one up. Damn, just got this. It stopped bleeding, but just the annoying little pinprick in my thumb. Like it's not like ow, it hurts. It's just fucking annoying. I can still feel it. Fucking stabbed by a piece of plastic. What's that about? Anyway, can I get an inspiration? I think this, my first cocktail book, maybe has a section on whiskey. Does it? Tom Collins, aperitifs, Clover Club. Here we go. Whiskey sour. El Presidente. Rum, vermouth, curacao, grenadine. What are we doing here? Brandy. Absinthe. Is there a section here? Ooh, New Orleans. Okay, I really like New Orleans drinks. La Louisiane. Whiskey, vermouth, Benedictine, dashes of absinthe and bitters. So that's really only a slight twist on a Manhattan. A Creole, rye whiskey, sweet vermouth, Benedictine, am I pecan? A Rofignac, brandy, rye whiskey, raspberry syrup, red wine vinegar, topped with soda. Vieux Carré, that's one of my favorites. Whiskey, brandy, sweet vermouth, Benedictine. Bywater, rum, and pecan, and chartreuse. Sealback. Bourbon Cointreau bitters. Topped with champagne. Wow. A liberal. Rye whiskey, sweet vermouth, and pecan. Sazerac, that's a classy one. Rye, simple syrup, bitters, and absinthe. Man, maybe a barrel-aged Sazerac. I fucking might, Get creative with the sweetener too, perhaps. Oh, I might do a barrel-aged Sazerac. It's in a Dixie. Bourbon, gum syrup, curacao, creme de menthe. Okay. Kentucky Buck. Topped with ginger beer. A paper plane. Whiskey, Aperol, lemon juice, Amaro Nino. Toronto, Canadian whiskey. Fernet Branca, simple syrup. I tell you what, I'm leaning heavily towards a barrel-aged Sazerac. Okay, must be putting some thought into that. So, Justin, you grew up with, made up a surname to get a passport. Yeah, that's the sort of thing where you need to make up a surname when you want to travel. Oh, dang. I'm kind of tempted to, because I did actually make an old-fashioned with this when I first opened it. Super yummy. Well, that's the thing, Justin, particularly in Southeast Asia, having servants doesn't cost you very much. But yes, I also understand you feeling a bit, oh, I'm mentioning my servant. I didn't say anything, but I fought down the urge when you mentioned having a servant when you're growing up. I fought down the urge to take the piss of it and go, oh, la-di-da. But I know you're not a la-di-da type of guy. So it would have been a joke, but I actually resisted doing it anyway. And you've more or less done it to yourself. Anyway, so despite the weird wine bottle, it's actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a quick comparison with a couple of other whiskies. Solera and Sticky Toffee. Okay. I just like doing this taste comparison thing. I've got my shot glasses just here already. I'm going to see which of, because I really liked all three of these. See which one I like the most when I put them side by side. Hello, Mimsy. You going to come and say hello to everyone? Because you're not dead yet, even though we thought you were going to die a couple of weeks ago because you were really sick. All right, so Watkins from Queensland. No, wait, that's that's not what I meant to do. I wanted stuff from different distilleries. I get the good whiskey. Which one's which? A nine Nocturne. Which one's this? Good whiskey. All right. Calm down. Strictly Sega. I haven't sat down to plan booze and tunes yet, but I will be doing it. Mel was in her 20s, got a job at the VA, assisted she needed a middle initial, despite the fact she didn't have any middle name. People get funny with that. Yeah, all right. Dr. Ogar, lonely. So, okay, well, if you ever need, well, I hope you know you can just call if you need to just hear a voice. And because I understand the weird alienating nature of being not in your own place. So if at any point you need to just hear a voice, you can call. All right. So water. Palate cleansing water. Trick say, have I been into Bad Religion? No. Don't have own a single record by Bad Religion. Okay, so side by side taste. Watkins whiskey. It's so gentle with sort of the dark fruit taste in it. Yum. It's really just, it's sometimes when you drink particularly booze, the aftertaste can be really gross. That actually gets better as it goes along, the aftertaste. Oh, just heard Charles III insists on getting his shoelace ironed. Fucking weirdo. Don't know if that's true. Abigail made a joke episode of Star Trek Discovery where they had a party on the ship. Bad Religion were playing live because they're still alive and touring. Yeah, okay, fair. Okay, so Archie Rose good whiskey. It's got the, because that's the blend of rye and single malt. Oh, it's got that little rye spice note in it, and it's just a little bit smoky, oaky, barrely, in a really nice way. Really, oh, and yeah, its aftertaste is barbecue smoke. It's really nice. Now, Starwood single malt Solera. That's really sort of, it's smoother than the Archie Rose. Doesn't have the rye spice. Doesn't really have the dark fruit notes that Watkins has. It's very sort of honey, vanilla, maybe a little bit of cinnamon in there. Justin, I think, okay, ironed bed sheets is not that unusual. I don't iron my bed sheets, but I feel like that's not so unusual. Still kind of sounds like, yeah. So, all right. Don't know if I even have favoured those. Those are whiskies for different moods. We're going to do the ice thing. See what difference that makes to the flavour of each of them. Chill and dilute them a little. Because it is weird how that makes them taste different. Adding a little water and changing their temperature. All right, so the Watkins. Oh, you're about to hear the increasingly desperate sounds of Mimsy as it gets closer to her getting some leftovers and she freaks out. Oof.
She's a bit subdued tonight.
She actually was. There was a little insistent.
She's a bit poorly.
Okay, so the ice lightens up the Watkins a lot. Doesn't really, it loses those dark fruit flavors a bit. Honestly, so I think the Watkins is probably better before the ice goes in. But the Archie Rose. It's still very similar. Still got the rice, and the smoke after notes. They're really quite pleasant. Yeah. And finally, Starwood Solera. It's really drinkable. Okay, I don't know if it's just novelty, but I think the Watkins is my favorite at the moment. Oh, this is really nice though. These that's weird. I never would have believed I'd get so into whiskies, but these quality whiskies are really good. Safa, what am I going to do on Thursday? Sleep in for a start. And honestly, I don't know if I'm going to do anything more outlandish than that. Just sleep in. And Justin, I think you're probably right. World leader, monarch, or even just, rich person, get weird shit done for you. Oh, God, Strictly Sega, the Cosmic Psychos, they're my vintage. Oh, God. And I don't mean my age. I mean stuff I was listening to when I was younger. And they were old then. So the Cosmic Psychos, if they're still alive, are probably all in their 70s now. Justin, Kevin Rudd went through 15 butlers because he was a piece of shit. He was a horrible, mean, anger-prone person. Impossible to fucking interact with. Incredibly disappointing of him. I've said this many times. I think Kevin Rudd showed enormous promise, could have been a truly great and even a legendary prime minister, but he wouldn't get enough sleep and it made him really angry, and he was incredibly abusive to everyone around him. While some of the stories I actually find funny, some of them not so much. And yeah, it's just like he fucked everything, and by extension fucked us, just with his anger and meanness and whatnot. It's on the one level, I still think the ALP shouldn't have moved against him, but most of the stories are he kind of made it impossible not to, because people just couldn't work with him. And Gillard stuck by him and said, I promised I'd never move against him, and I'm not going to. And it went on for ages. And Rudd, in his paranoia, was running around doing a hatchet job on Julie Gillard while she was refusing to challenge him, because he thought she was still going to, because he certainly would, because he's a raging fucking narcissist. So he was circulating what he thought was dirt on her, like polls saying people would never vote for her. And so the story goes, what's his name? Shorten came to Gillard and said, like, you've got to challenge him. And she said, no, I said I won't, and I won't. And then Shorten just gave her, this is the memo he's been circulating to everyone else. And it was basically just a bunch of shit about her. And so she stormed into his office and probably mildly politely said, fuck you, and said, you no longer have my confidence. How could I possibly support you when I have been supporting you, and yet you go around talking shit about me because you're so fucking paranoid? So she said, you no longer have my confidence. And so there are three things Rudd supporters tend to gloss over. People who say, oh, he should never been turfed as leader, it was inexcusable, oh, Gillard was terrible. They gloss over three things. One, he was a fucking monster and no one could work with him. Two, Gillard pledged to not go against him, and in his paranoia, he didn't believe it, and so was slinging shit about her to the point where she said, you no longer have my confidence. Three, when she went in and said, you no longer have my confidence, he didn't want what he saw as the embarrassment of a spill, and so he resigned. Gillard never challenged him. He resigned the position of leader because he assumed a challenge was coming. That assumption may have been correct, but he resigned, and then the party voted for Gillard as leader. And then he acted like a complete cunt from the back bench. His behavior, absolutely inexcusable. He completely polluted his own legacy. And I think we're about to get a cameo from a pigeon.
Yes.
Does the strain want to see the baby pigeon?
I'm sure. Pigeon in a box.
Yeah.
Right here, on the box. We have a pigeon carer in the house. There's a pigeon who needs looking. Oh yes, pigeon in a box.
It's a baby.
Safi, you are correct. Turnbull did resign because he probably rightly thought he could beat the potato in a challenge, but they both got blindsided by Morrison. Justin, Albanese may end up being a very good prime minister. It's very early days yet. I'll reserve judgment, but Albanese may end up becoming a very good prime minister. Safa, the idea of there being a head of, it's head of state, not head of, don't forget, it's the head of state and the head of the government are two different things. Under the current constitution, the head of state is the monarch, and there is a vice-regal appointee in Australia, the Governor General, who acts in their stead. But the head of the government is the leader of the political party or coalition who has a majority and has formed a government with the assent of the Governor General. The concept of not voting for head of state is a fucking farce. And yet that's the big reason I'll never forgive Rudd for his fucking egocentric bullshit is he fucking dropped us in the shit with the LNP. That shouldn't have been possible, but his fucking behavior made it happen. And his supporters, who act like he's some sort of fucking martyr, need to pull their fucking heads in because he was a dickhead. Okay, let's. No, I'm trying to think. I picked something up in the wrong hand. I want to put that one there. That one there. And I'll put this one down here. Ooh, look, there's my bottled old fashioned. Might finish off drinkies for the evening with an old fashioned. So your dad had the pink bats thing over Labor for 10 years, which was a farce. And for anyone who doesn't remember, there was a scheme launched by Labor to encourage people to put insulation in their homes because that would save on energy and therefore like greenhouse gases, etc. It was a good plan. It should have been pursued. But what happened, it wasn't that tightly regulated, and some pretty cowboyish people got in on it, and there were a couple of deaths on sites where this pink bats thing was going on. And the Liberal Party tried to make, and actually successfully made, a really big deal of it. And I think people dying on the job is terrible and should be a big thing. The Liberal Party does not think that is a big deal. The Liberal Party are opportunistic, lying fucks. Now I'm going to do a couple of searches. Pink bats deaths. Okay, there were 4 deaths in thing. Okay, Royal Commission says insulation deaths were the fault of the government's program. So yeah, so the government's program had some cowboy operators. 4 people died. okay? And the Liberals, what do you think? Construction worksite deaths, let's say 2016. Okay, so there were 182 worksite deaths in 2016, so which the Liberal Party didn't give a fucking rat's ass about it. Yeah, the whole thing about getting up in arms about 4 deaths in the pink bat scheme was just an opportunistic lie. They did not give a fucking shit about it. They just fucking suck. Like I said, you know, hundreds of worksite deaths every year. They don't give a shit about. They think any sort of controls that might limit deaths in work sites are Big Brother and red tape and blah blah blah. Fuck them. Fuck them, the fucking pieces of shits. Justin, I completely disagree with the idea that electing a head of state by default means someone Trumpy or Clive Palmer. Again, no one's voting for Clive Palmer. We've actually seen that categorically in the last 2 federal elections, where that shit stain has spent tens of millions of dollars. I think the idea of a head of state not being elected is a fucking farce. Hot damn. It's a good old fashioned. I even forget how many whiskies I put in here. Somewhere between 3 and 5, I think. Yum. And the bitters and sweetener, the yum. Oh yeah, they strictly say you see the Libs underfunding TAFE. The job seeker companies are a fucking criminal enterprise as far as I'm concerned. And it's kind of like, it was remarkable that, on the one I thought it was remarkable that Morrison in particular got away with his fuckery for as long as he did. But then, like, he got away with it for so long, it was mildly surprising when he was more or less called to account and the LNP suffered a really quite humiliating defeat in the last federal election. But yes, LNP policies, I mean, God, certainly since Howard, they've gotten so much worse. John Howard is a fucking monster. Entrenched racism as a centerpiece in Australian politics is just brutal, vicious attacks on workers' rights and safety inexcusable. And they've just gotten worse since him. We are now possibly at a point where the Labor Party might enact some decent policies and people might see, oh, wait, we actually believe the lies we got sold for a decade or so, and Jesus, they were fucking lies, and here's what should be happening. My God. Justin, I see, and I've said this multiple times on streams, I personally see no value in Australian politics in like a head of state who's separate to the elected government. I just don't see what the point of that is. But the concept of there being a head of state who's not elected is a steaming pile of shit. And even, like the argument is, if the head of state's not elected in a popular election, is actually appointed by the parliament, again, it's stupid. Someone would have to make a really compelling case to me, like why that's even a thing. So for ranking the worst Liberal PMs, it's quite difficult to do because they were terrible in different ways. Probably Howard ultimately did the most damage, but it's almost saying, trying to split who's the worst between Howard, Abbott, and Morrison is kind of like, would you rather have your big toe slammed in a door, your finger slammed in a door, or your dick slammed in a door? They're all really fucking horrible. And why am I being asked to choose between them? Because they're all fucking terrible. Justin, you reckon John Howard was easily the worst? I think he did the most damage. I think John Howard completely poisoned political discourse in Australia. He moved racism to be the central part of political discourse in Australia. And yeah, he made way for the rest of them. And Meg Leach, he did have that one redeeming feature of introducing gun control, but he absolutely debased political discourse in Australia. He was completely merciless in his assaults on workers' rights. He was a pathological liar. So how much did Howard win in 1996? I don't know. Let's ask the Oracle. (1996) Australian election. What does Wikipedia say? Oh, okay, that's when he beat Keating. Jesus Christ, that's right. They fucking stormed in. That was a fucking wipeout. Labor lost 31 seats. LNP picked up 29. So they went from having 65 seats to 94 seats, and Labor went from having 80 seats to 49 seats. That was a fucking bloodbath. That election was a fucking bloodbath. Jesus. I'd forgotten about what a fucking bloodbath that election was. And Justin, I am also hoping that Teal independents, and again, anyone who, I get really annoyed by people who think that Teal independents are actually progressive. No, they're Liberal Party people. They're Liberal Party people who look at what the LNP's been doing for the last 10 years, particularly, and just going, wait, these are not my conservative values. That shit's fucking psycho. What are they doing? But they're not progressive. They're conservatives. It's just that conservative didn't used to mean psycho. And that's where John Howard started to tip things. In the US, it was Reagan. In England, it was Thatcher. And here it took longer. It took till Howard in the 90s for conservatives to just tip over into just sort of brutalist punishment. And yes, I did. It always looked like Labor were going to win the last election, but I didn't want to be too sure. But yes, and thanks to the Teals, it was an absolute fucking pasting for the Liberals, which was beautiful. Now, the next thing I get to look forward to is the state election here in Victoria in November, which is almost definitely going to see Labor returned. Who knows if it will be with a reduced majority, a significantly reduced majority, or about the same, or it's not inconceivable that they would increase their majority. Okay, so the most likely outcome is Labor returned with a reduced majority. I think second is Labor returned and they hold, don't lose any seats, or only lose 1 or 2 seats. Third most likely is Labor actually pick up a seat or two. The most unlikely, but possible, is that the LNP actually win. That's a real long shot, but nothing's impossible. But yeah, Justin, that's who the Teals are. The Teal Independents are Liberal Party people. I agree, Safa, but there's been a couple of decisions during the Andrews government that kind of makes it clear that he doesn't give a shit about Indigenous people, quite honestly. Yes, as people have asked me, do you really like Dan Andrews? And it's like, okay, I think Dan Andrews passes the very low bar of being the best political leader in Australia, but there's a fucking shit ton to call into question with him. These decisions and this thing with the hospital is only symbolic, but there's been other decisions that kind of make it look like he doesn't give a shit about Indigenous people, and he really seems to have never seen a punitive measure he doesn't like, and he fucking loves the cops. So there's a lot to criticize about Dan Andrews without being one of these lunatic fringe people. Safa, there is literally no one in politics who doesn't play dirty political games. And there is literally like so much, no one who's in a leadership role in politics who hasn't done brutal fucking political games. Yep, Strictly Sega. It's not. I mean, the Teals were a big thing in the last election, but there's a few independents across state and federal in Australia. Okay, this is excellent. A boomer, a millennial, and a zoomer walk into a bar. That's right, Gen X got ignored again. Oh, I fucking love that. That's great. Strictly Sega, the footy. Oh yeah, that was on the fucking nose. An acknowledgement of first people followed by a minute silence for the Queen right after. It's like, ugh, those two things don't go together. God damn. God damn. What are you thinking? Oofed. What are you gonna do? I feel like I should drink a little bit of water before bedtime. That's right. Boomer finally. Is he? Okay. When was Chuckles born? King Charles III, born 48. Yep, okay. He's a boomer. I thought he might have been too old to be a boomer. But he is a boomer. Yes. So little Betty Capoodle Schnitzer, Schugelgruber, whatever her real name actually is. Yeah, she was the greatest generation. But yeah, Chuckles is literally a boomer. Boomer King of England. And what's funny, so it'll skip a generation because William's not Gen X. William's a millennial, I think. I need to look up his birth date as well. Born 82. Oh, Young Gen X. He's young Gen X. Okay. I think he just barely squeaks in as young Gen X. What they say, crossover Gen X and millennials, zennials. Very, like, I'm old Gen X. He's like young Gen X. How do boomers change a light bulb? They don't. They just keep talking about how great the old one was. Brilliant. Safa, that's certainly what the monarchy thinks. That we not only need to be obedient, we need to be grateful. There's the monarchy looking after things. Know our place. Are you picking up that I don't like monarchies? Because I don't. My little rapier here. I will do for the monarchy with my rapier cocktail skewer. Man, that would be a slow way to kill someone. Stab them 30 or 40 times with my cocktail skewer. Is a bag the liquid state of a box? Right, okay. That took me more than a second or two to wrap my head around. Is anyone demonetized just for threatening to stab the royal family to death with my cocktail pick? Political correctness gone mad. Big Brother, 1984. Got to need especially watching Queen Theatre alone. No, I absolutely refuse to watch it. Oh, that's a good one. Why did the boomer have no coin policy in his store? Couldn't tolerate change. Nice. All right, yeah, so yeah, Williams, okay, it's funny. Okay, so these generational separators are completely arbitrary and very meaningless. So Williams right on the cusp of being either a young Gen X or old millennial, which, you know, awkward. Whole time you're hoping the Queen would reanimate, burst out of the coffin. Telling your favorite Princess Di jokes, of course. I did see someone post a video online. There was a real close-up of the coffin going into the Westminster Abbey, and with all the crown jewels on it and flowers and stuff. And I noticed thing that looked like a card was pinned to it, but a spider was crawling across it. And someone posted this bit of video when there's a close-up and you can see this spider and captioned it, "The most famous spider in the world." Being watched, a spider being watched by millions of people. Justin, you think millennials will get more conservative once boomers die off and inherit the wealth? Historically, a significant chunk of every generation has gotten more conservative as they get older. I mean, it's hilarious because, I mean, you know, boomers, you know, they were the hippie generation. You had all the hippies going on about like, yeah, it's just all the horrible old people are going to die off, and then it'll be beautiful and peace and love. And no, and they just turned into fuckwits. I thought it'd be something like that. Why did Princess Diana cross the road? Because she didn't have a seatbelt on. Yep. Okay, that's a thing. That's a thing I actually remember being at home and hearing a news bulletin that a car with Princess Di and Dodi Fayed had crashed. It was like, ooh. And then the first thing they announced was Dodi Fayed had died. And because I knew what his dad was like, and I was like, oh man, that's going to cause some shit. Man, him dying is going to cause some shit. And then an hour or so, they announced Diana had died. And it's like, oh, what the fuck? Oh man, this is all kinds of fucked up. Oh, oh my God, that's really going there. Did you know Princess Diana was on the radio the night she died? To be honest, she's on the whole dashboard. Oh my God. Oh, and Dr. Abigail had that one as well. That one I have not actually heard before. The seatbelt one I kind of guessed. Oof, we're terrible, terrible people. For anyone who ever watches this back and wants to cause, offensive, you're terrible. You're terrible. How could you do that? Only someone terrible would say that. Yeah, we're terrible. Just saying. We are. What was the difference between Princess Diana and Thomas the Tank Engine? Thomas made it through the tunnel. Nice. Oh, right. You heard it on Martin Malloy show on Fox. You thought it was a joke. Yeah, you would. You would think it was a joke. I heard it on TV news. I think. Okay, let me double check when it happened. When did she actually? 31st August. Okay. That fits in with us. Okay, so my firstborn was born in November 97. So her mother was very pregnant at the time, and I thought it tied in with that pregnancy. We were at home. Yeah. What day of the week was that? I wonder. Fuck that. What are we doing here? Aug 1997 calendar. Let's see what day of the week the 31st was. Yeah, that made sense. It was a Sunday. We were at home and we had the TV on. It was a Sunday. That made sense. What did Peter say to Diana? What that look off your face, Jesus. Oh dear. Goodness gracious. We're just reveling in being terrible people. Terrible, terrible people. Dirty, rotten scoundrels. That was a fun movie. From way back, was that 90s? Oh, it's funny. Okay. I started watching Resident Alien with Mrs. Angry. Now, I think the only way to watch that legally in Australia is on Channel 9. So you can watch it on their streaming service, 9 Now, because it's up to season 3. We just started. Jesus fucking Christ. The ads they fucking pile on is just right on the cusp of, just ending it all. It's very frustrating because having finally started to watch it, Resident Alien is really fucking good. Alan Tudyk. I never know how you pronounce his last name. Alan Tudyk. He's done heaps over the years. He was in Firefly. He's done heaps of voice work for various animations and whatnot. He was the robot in Rogue One. He's just done heaps over the years. He's very funny in Resident Alien, and he's almost always on the line. Every now and then, sort of watching this, going like, okay, this show's not perfect. That was a bit slapstick. That was a bit overdone. That joke, you kind of went a bit far with that. But broadly speaking, it's very good. Okay, so it's also on Stan. Okay. Well, I'm not paying for another streaming service, particularly not for one show. It's very good, and it's just barely worth tolerating the ads on the 9 streaming service. It's pretty darn funny, though. So I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. And yes, he's just a leaf on the wind. Yeah, the Resident Alien, he's an alien who's on Earth, and he's pretending to be a doctor, hence Resident, which is a name for an alien. So it's sort of a double, triple pun, the name of the show, Resident Alien, which is pretty good. Also, it's set quite a bit north in the US, and there are a number of Native American people in the cast. And what's fun, another thing I'm watching with Mrs. Angry is Reservation Dogs, a series in which Taika Waititi is a producer, and Reservation Dogs centers on life in an Indian reservation in the US. It's mostly focusing on some kids, some teenagers, but the adults get a look in too. And what's funny is watching Resident Alien, like an episode or two, and you go, oh my God, okay, so far 2 people from Reservation Dogs are also in Resident Alien. Resident Alien set in the rural town of Patience, Colorado. That's not in the north. It's just high altitude because it's snow. But yeah, it was interesting because there's a lot of Native American people in the show. And yeah, it was kind of funny to realize 2 of them so far were in Reservation Dogs as well. So that was an interesting one. So we finished the most recent season of What We Do in the Shadows, which was fun. I think there's still a couple episodes to come, or at least 1 episode to come in Reservation Dogs, which is the 2nd season of that show. I think we got through everything else we were watching. We finished Only Murders in the Building season 2, which was fun. And now we started watching Resident Alien, which is great. Like I said, it's just barely good enough to tolerate the ads, it's very good, but the ads are fucking horrific. Like, because I've been using streaming services for fucking years now, so the idea of watching ads is alien. I pay to not have ads. Even on YouTube, I've got YouTube Premium. I pay to not have ads on YouTube. So having ads forced on you when you watch something is just so fucking alien to me right now. Although we were watching Wellington Paranormal on SBS streaming, and so of course that has ads, but the way SBS puts ads on is way less intrusive than the way Channel 9 does. Channel 9's just fucking nightmarish. Good question, Megaleech. Any good sci-fi shows about to replace the whole Expanse is left? I started watching the most recent season of Westworld, which is interesting so far. We'll see where it goes. I was very surprised when I recently learned there is a series coming out inspired by William Gibson's recent run of novels, The Peripheral. Looks cool. It's actually the same people who made Westworld made this, and it looks kind of cool. So I'm very keen to see it. That doesn't start for like another month. Yeah, well, Dr. Abigail, if you watch stuff online with the ad blocker and whatnot, so yeah, but if you, like I said, I can't be bothered watching something in a way that's not legal. I certainly no problem with anyone who does choose to use methods that may be slightly more nebulous in the world of legality, because fuck these big corporations, honestly. But yeah, no, I was just watching Resident Alien on my TV. Can't really put an ad block on TV. Nassol, hi, how are you doing? I heard Severance was good, but I refuse to get another streaming service. So I'm not getting Apple TV. But that would make, I guess, 2 series on Apple TV I'm interested in seeing. Foundation and Severance. So, but I'm not going to get another streaming service. I have multiple streaming services, which is worth it because there's stuff I'm watching on it, and I would always get stuff on disc and whatnot. So this recently was like, I would get a TV series on disc. It was like, well, a box set costs the same as several months of a streaming service. So it's kind of worth having the streaming services because I'd be buying these box sets otherwise. So I maintain the streaming service, but I've got 4 now. I'm not doing anymore. I refuse to get any more. 4 streaming services, and I'm not getting any more. So there's just some stuff I won't see. And that's what you're saying. Ben Stiller directed Severance. Well, dude has a lot of experience. Like, he's been in film since the fucking 90s. So at this point he knows his shit, I guess. I've started watching, I'm up to season 2 of Preacher, which used to be on Stan. That was one thing that almost made me want to get Stan. Now it's on Prime. I got Prime to watch Star Trek stuff. Mrs. Angry is a big Trekkie, so not all Star Trek. Oh, I did actually see a teaser for season 3, which is supposed to be the final season of Picard. A lot of people didn't like season 2 of Picard, but I feel like they're trying to get the fans back on side with season 3, doing a bunch of fan service. They seem to be getting the entire crew of the Next Generation on board for season 3 of Picard. But that's not till next year. It was only a teaser thing. I was also will see. Oh yeah, in the Salt. Yeah, Ben Stiller's pops is in the game. Jerry, best known to people these days, George Costanza's dad in Seinfeld. But Jerry Stiller did shit for decades. Like, he was already, well, he's George's dad in the 90s. He's already an old man by then. Jerry Stiller did shit for decades. So yeah, Ben Stiller grew up in the industry. Yes, but I feel like most people today would know Jerry Stiller from Seinfeld. He was pretty goddamn funny from being George's dad. Justin, again, there is so much stuff to watch on the services I have illegal access to. I I can't be bothered fucking around with, you know, illegal or questionably legal ways to access stuff. There's more stuff than I can fucking watch on the services I have. So, I mean, there's a couple of movies I'd been waiting for have just become free on streaming services. Thor, Love and Thunder, which is probably stupid, but I hope it's stupid in a good way and I can enjoy it. And also the Matrix movie that came out last year. I want to watch that, see what that's like. I don't expect either of them to be my all-time favourites, but I hope I enjoy them. I watched one that I thought from the trailers looked silly, Moonfall. I don't know if anyone saw Moonfall. It sort of was released last year and has just come on free on streaming services recently. And I watched it and it's stupid as fuck. Like if I call a film or a TV show silly, that means I enjoyed it. Moonfall is fucking shit. I did watch it. I watched it all the way through, but Moonfall is fucking stupid. But that's just my take. You might do it differently. Honestly, I didn't think it would take many changes to move Moonfall from stupid to silly. But it was kind of like it was going along okay, and then there would just be some super fucking bad dialogue or some super fucking bad plot exposition, and I was like, oh Jesus Christ, really? Sorry, Nassau, what are you talking about is terrible, painful watch? You watch on the plane, wanted rapid decompression. Megalicious Moonfall explains what the roach limit is, then explores it. Yeah, it's Oh, okay, you are talking about Moonfall. Yeah, no. Moonfall crossed over from silly to fucking stupid quite early on. I watched it. I didn't watch it all in one go. I watched it in two stretches. But it's like, yeah, okay, sure, fine, fucking whatever. But it was really sort of, oh God. But I honestly don't think they would have had to change that much to move it back into enjoyable, silly territory. Yeah, Dr. Abigail, Moonfall would infuriate you with the rampant stupidity of the way it represents physics. Yeah, it was just like, yeah, you wouldn't have had to tweak it too much to make it enjoyably silly. In other words, it's just fucking like, okay, enjoyably silly. The Bruce Willis film Armageddon, thinking of space things, that made no sense and was very silly, but was fun. But even like Twister, stupid, not realistic, but silly and fun. Like Twister, silly and fun. Armageddon, silly and fun. Moonfall, sorry, you just slipped into stupid. Just fucking stupid. And that's all. YouTuber Scott Manley cut it to shreds. Pretty fucking easy to cut it to shreds, honestly. Oh, Justin, Scrubs was one season too far. See, I never watched that one season too far. But yeah, often when shows like Simpsons has run 20 years too long, right? From an artistic, creative, rewarding point of view, Simpsons has run 20 years too long. People say, why is the Simpsons run? Because it's making money. Why did Scrubs run longer than it should have? Because they thought they could milk more money of it, even when the core people said, I'm out. They said, oh yeah, but maybe we can milk it for some more. It's money. Money fucks everything. That's old. Oh, Jesus Christ. No, the movie Moon is fucking incredible. there's only one actor on screen the whole time. I 1,000,000% recommend the movie Moon because it's just brilliant. Sam, what's his name? But the politics of that movie are so fucking bang on, because the politics are basically, thank you, Sam Rockwell. Sorry, that's not, are you saying Sam Rockwell is David Bowie's son? But yeah, again, the movie Moon is fucking phenomenal. Sam Rockwell is brilliant in pretty much anything he's in. Sam Rockwell, Parents. He's the only child of actors Pete Rockwell and Penny Hess. Didn't think he was David Bowie's son. Oh, the director Duncan Jones is. All right. Okay. So Zoe. Yeah, Zoe Bowie. Yeah. So no, Bum Fungus, I don't think you got confused. I think we were both a bit confused by what Nessa was saying. So yes, please, no one do any spoilers to Moon, because it's important not to have it. But I was just going to say, Sam Rockwell is phenomenal. He's the only, I think he's the only actor who appears on screen. You do get voices. But the politics for that are bang on, because the politics are about exploitation, essentially. And I find the politics of Moon extremely plausible. So, but it is a really fucking good movie. Sam Rockwell's great. Sam Rockwell is almost always good in anything he's in. I can't think of anything bad Sam Rockwell's done. He's probably been in some stuff that's not fantastic, but he's always good. Yeah, no, Moon's fucking great. And yet the twist in Moon threw me for a loop, and I said the politics of Moon fucking bang on. So it's like no context spoilers. If the ruling class can find a way to fuck us over, they will fucking do it. You can okay, technically Bum Fungus, me saying there's a twist could be regarded as a spoiler, but fuck it, it's also a 10-year-old movie. So what am I doing? 2009. Okay, Moon's 2009. 13-year-old movie. Okay, if you can't fucking cope with a really fucking mild spoiler for a 13-year-old movie, there's no fucking hope for you. But yeah, it's fucking worth it, man. Sam Rockwell's fucking great. And yes, there's a twist, so you can hang out for it. But it's handled masterfully. And I think we can even gloss over the fact the voice of the computer is serial sex offender Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey's been in a bunch of stuff I like. I think we can gloss over voice of the computer is serial sex offender Kevin Spacey. Because it's Sam Rockwell's film. He's fucking great. Trying to think of films where only one person's on screen. Tom Hardy is in a film where the entire film is him driving and talking on the phone to people. And it's like a fixed camera, and the story is revealed from these phone conversations he's having with people while he's talking. That's a good one too. Again, Tom Hardy, if something's got Tom Hardy in it, it's probably worth watching. It's not necessarily going to be great and legendary, but if Tom Hardy's in it, it's probably good. Like, oh my God, possibly the worst of the Star Trek films, Nemesis. It was on TV a while back, and by a while back I mean a couple of years back. I hadn't watched it since it first came out. It's not very memorable, but there's this little character in it. There's this young guy, and I was really distracted because I'm looking at this young, he's like as a teenager, and I'm thinking, who the fuck is that? What? They look really familiar. Who the fuck is that? And I was super distracted, and eventually worked out it was Tom Hardy. It was one of the first major roles Tom Hardy did. And it's before he got big and beefy, and he's just like a skinny fucking teenager. So it's like Tom Hardy's face on a skinny teenager, and it's really fucking weird. It's really fucking weird. Because almost everything I know Tom Hardy from, he's big and imposing and threatening. And in Star Trek Nemesis, he's a skinny teenager. It's fucking weird. Yes. That's a fun left field question, Nessel. How do I deal with loud people in the office? I haven't been in the office for 2.5 years. 2.5 years I've been in the office, I don't know, a dozen times. I'm planning on going into the office tomorrow, though, actually. Ah, shit. There's an American in your office. Yeah, dude, that's really fucking difficult. Because despite my online persona, in real life, I don't really go for conflict. And it can be really difficult because I feel like the only thing that can possibly work is you need to go to the person directly and say, when you have these conversations, and like if you're talking on the phone and stuff, your voice is actually really loud and penetrating, and it's very difficult to concentrate on my work when your voice cuts through it. I feel like with someone like that, there's almost nothing that works apart from direct confrontation, and that often doesn't work either. So I don't know what to. I mean, okay, real thing from years ago, and I mean, like this is like 20 years ago. There was this dude who would fucking play his voicemails on speakerphone in a really crowded office, and he'd play it really loud, and it's like so fucking rude when all you have to do is like pick up the phone and you can just listen to your fucking voicemails. And this fucking prick would play his voicemails on speakerphone really loud. And I think someone actually said to him, could you not? And he refused to stop doing it. So we came up with the devious plot. Out of hours, we called his phone so we knew it would go to voicemail. And we were just leaving messages like, yeah, hello, this is Dr. Smith from the Sexually Transmitted Disease Clinics. Your test results came back, and you have gonorrhea and syphilis. And in fact, you have super gonorrhea. And we were just coming up with, we were just leaving really obnoxious messages on his voicemail that he was then playing at maximum volume to the whole office. And he stopped playing his voicemail on speakerphone after a while. Again, our response was very childish, but this guy was a fucking prick. Yeah, people who play their fucking voicemail on speakerphone at a high volume in a crowded sort of open workspace. It's just like, nah, this guy's a fucking piece of shit. No rules. Any revenge on him is acceptable. So yeah, we just left a few humiliating voicemails, and he stopped playing his voicemails on speakerphone. But yeah, someone who's just talking loud. Again, I don't know about you, man. I would be really reticent about confronting someone directly and saying, look, hey, the thing you're doing is really disruptive, but I feel like nothing less than a direct approach to that person will work. That you need to say like, when you're saying that, like if you're doing, could you take phone calls in a meeting room or whatever? It's just like your voice is very loud. It's very disruptive. I understand your calls are important and you need to take them, but the conversation sort of goes everywhere. If you could find a way to, like, take or make the calls from a meeting room or something, I personally would find that difficult and confronting. But I feel like that's what you have to do. Oh yeah, Christ! Loud phone conversations on public transport, Sava. That is also fucking weird. I never understand people who do that. It's like, I want to say to them, like, do you know we can hear your whole conversation, right? You're not anywhere private, you fucking weirdo. Anyway, it's 10 o'clock. Gotta go to bed. Tomorrow, woo! I think I don't even have anything on tomorrow. I'm going into the office. Oh shit, I need to go into bed because I'm going to the office tomorrow. Shit, I forgot. Now I remembered, I'm going into the office tomorrow. First time in the office in, I don't know, I think it's months. So I'm going to do that. I remember, Sophie, you asked me, was I going to do a live stream to cash in on my 4-day weekend? No, I won't be doing a live stream tomorrow night because I probably will on Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. And me being me, I shall probably indulge in the alcohol. So yeah, you could say, oh, you should do it on Wednesday night too. No, fuck. I'm already in danger of having alcohol poisoning this weekend. We don't want to make it worse by doing it on Wednesday night as well. So Thursday night. See you all then. A little bit. So we'll do that. So you'll take care. And I will see you another time. See if we can come up with something fun to do on Thursday night. I need to message 80 because he tried to get me a couple times, like on Saturday and Sunday night. I said, sorry, dude, not doing a stream. I'll have to get him sort of team up to be on Thursday night or Friday night. God, now I've got the hiccups. We'll see what happens. But anyway, I'll see you folks another time. Bye for now.